Next up for Manchester City, it's Liverpool in the league. Could they lose 6 in a row? I tell you what, if Manchester City somehow beat Liverpool, if they can find their rhythm next week, the title race suddenly becomes a 3-horse race again, doesn't it? If you are an Arsenal fan, you must be looking at that fixture thinking that a Manchester City win could open the door for the entire title race to be open again. Let's speak to a Liverpool fan about that, actually. Steve, how are you, Steve?
I'm very well, thank you. Great show as always.
That's very kind of you, Steve. How are you feeling about your fixture tomorrow? Do you feel like you get the win?
I do. I mean, obviously, we should, by rights, get the victory. But this whole season, the whole reason I called up was to kind of say that as a Liverpool fan and Liverpool fans in general, they shouldn't be counting their chickens before they hatch, so to speak. A game like Southampton could be as slippery as a game like we had against Nottingham Forest, for example. And then we've got fixtures against the likes of Manchester City, Newcastle and Everton over the space of about 10 days, not even including Real Madrid. So the whole season for a team like Liverpool can flip itself on a sixpence, so to speak.
That is true, but everybody else is slipping up, aren't they? And you've got the 9-point cushion.
Well, we currently have the 5-point cushion in the Premier League. With the 3 points tomorrow, we would have 8 points. But until you've really played every team in the league, so say 19 games, and also the December fixtures come thick and fast. And with teams like Liverpool, it might Manchester City losing to Spurs might be sort of the silver lining to a dark cloud, in that they don't have those extra fixtures just prior to sort of Christmas Day and Boxing Day and all that, because they're not in the League Cup anymore. So there's still so much to play for. And as a Liverpool fan, you know, my whole life and 9 seasons with Klopp, the last thing I'm going to do is be bolshy or arrogant about it, because we've got 93, 97 and 99 points in 3 separate seasons, and we only won league once out of those 3, which is unprecedented. We got to 3 Champions League finals. We got to 3 League Cup finals. We got to a Europa League final. We got to an FA Cup final. But did we win each and every one of those? No. So
do you know what, Steve? Whilst I agree, and whilst I think that it's very magnanimous of you to acknowledge that it isn't over and to accept that there are lots of permutations still to come in the Premier League title race, I do on some level agree with you. But you are far and away the best team, you know, because I don't have a dog in the fight, so I can just look at Liverpool and see them for what they are. Liverpool are far and away the best team in the country. They're far and away the best team in the country. The manager is getting everything right. And then you look at the individuals. You know, you have title winners there. Players like Van Dijk, players like Alisson, icons, Mohamed Salah. They have icons. And then the vulnerability to Liverpool, some would have said, is that midfield. Arne Slot has perfected it. Curtis Jones, a lovely footballer, isn't he? Silk. And then Ryan Gravenberch has been redefined. I don't see the weakness in your side. I really don't.
Of course, I agree to a huge extent with what you're saying. And sort of the path, the journey, the development, all of the processes with which Liverpool have been through, not just over the transition between the Klopp and Slot, but also over the last 9+ seasons, have led to where we are now. So in an ideal world, yes, the path does look like it's for us to lose. I agree. But I also feel, watching today's game, Tottenham beat Manchester City in a game where both teams didn't play bad.
Oh, I think that's really generous, Steve. That's really generous. Tottenham were amazing. Manchester City were woeful.
Manchester City had moments of woefulness, and it was unprecedented, and it was uncharacteristic of their former selves. But there was also periods of moments where Manchester City, you know, if it was like an inch this way or a millimetre that way, they could have been very different. And that is what football and sport is all about. It's all about moments and momentum, and it can be about those defining sort of, you know,
Absolutely, Steve. It is most certainly that. But Steve is being slightly negative on his team's chances of winning the Premier League for me, because Liverpool look impenetrable. Tima, a Liverpool fan, how are you, Tima?
Very good. Thanks so much. How are you, Rory?
Very well. Great to hear from you. How are you feeling about the title race?
Well, what can I say? Being a Liverpool fan means so much to me, and today is a day that we've all been dreaming for. We went from title hopes to title challenges to title favourites, and now we can see that pathway to the title. The door's open to 8-point gap. It's there. We can beat Southampton, and we are also in a strong position to beat City and Anfield to make it 11 points. I cannot believe what I'm saying. It sounds unbelievable, but this really can be a reality for us.
Yeah, I just don't think that I just don't see the vulnerability in Liverpool. I really don't. I know that there's obviously twists and turns to come. I know that it's very difficult to award anyone the Premier League, and you certainly can't do that in November. But when you think about the Liverpool team, when you try and explore the vulnerability, where does it occur? You know, Keller has come in. You'd say maybe the injury to the goalkeeper. That could be an example of where it's going to go wrong for Liverpool. They've been absolutely fine. You look at their defence. You think about how good... You can use Ibrahim Konate as the example, actually. Incredibly strong, incredibly intelligent, incredibly passionate. And he's not even their best centre-half. Then it's the icons in the team. The players that can carry you to a league title. The players that have that wherewithal and the minerals to guarantee you a league. Players like Mohamed Salah, players like Virgil van Dijk, players like Trent Alexander-Arnold. Tima, I don't see where it goes wrong. If you even played a game with me here, you're a Liverpool fan, you watch them week in, week out. Where is the vulnerability?
Yep. You know, I think that our slight vulnerability is number 6, DM, because Ryan Gravenberch undeniably is one of the most informed defensive midfielders in the entire world. But we don't really have a replacement for him. And I'm just a little bit worried that what if, for God forbid, let's say, if he got an injury, who replaces him? Because Endo doesn't really fit the system. The manager doesn't pick him. He's not quick enough.
Szoboszlai could feature a bit more, couldn't he?
I think Szoboszlai definitely further up the pitch. But in terms of that DM, because I think that Ryan Gravenberch has been the transformational element to our team.
And Curtis Jones.
I think Curtis Jones he's better further up the pitch, because I think Ryan Gravenberch has more defensive capabilities in terms of trying to win those second balls, applying press, making tackles. I think of Curtis Jones more like a little bit further up the pitch in CM, whereas that DM is like Ryan Gravenberch is perfect. He can dribble as well. He's one of, I would say, probably our best midfielder, because he's just so versatile. He can go forward. He can dribble.
Absolutely, Tima. He has been fantastic. There's no doubt about it. And it's one of Arne Slot's biggest achievements, actually, redefining Ryan Gravenberch, reimagining that Liverpool midfield. It is sensational, and that is why Liverpool look a shoo-in for the league title. Keep your calls coming in. Tomorrow on talkSPORT 2, you will have live commentary of a big game in the Championship. Swansea versus Leeds from 3 p.m.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.